Blessings, everybody. Amen. I'm not going to be on long. I just want to come and do an excerpt from my book, Jairus, Encounter with Jesus, Revelations of the Encounter. I just felt led to come on and talk about one particular chapter out of the book. It's a short read. Amen. And I'm going to come from chapter 5. And the title of that chapter is Maintaining Your Confession. See, it's easy to make a confession, but maintaining it is where the fight is. Amen. This is where the fight of faith comes in when we maintain our confession. And this is what Jairus had to do. Amen. He had to maintain it. He had made a confession that if Jesus would come back to his house, that his daughter would be made whole. Now you got to maintain that confession. I want to read. So in chapter 5, it's titled Maintaining Your Confession. In chapter 4, I had what is titled Patience. But right before chapter 4, there's chapter 3, dealing with the confession itself. But I want you to get this book. I'm going to just read from Maintaining Your Confession. And you can get it on Amazon.com. Amen. You can get it as an ebook or you can get it as a printed paperback copy. Amen. I want you to get it's a short read, but very powerful revelation in it. But I want to talk about maintaining your confession. See, a lot of us can make the confession that we're coming out of this, or God get ready to do this, that, and the other. But the fight is when we can maintain that confession. That's what I want to look at today. Maintaining your confession. Amen. And this is what I want to look at today as we look at Jairus. Amen. Encounter. And the title of chapter 5 is Maintaining Your Confession. I'm going to begin reading, and then we're going to go into our text of what's here in the revelation that we get from this. And it says, Jairus had done everything right up to this point. He had waited patiently for his miracle when the woman with the issue of blood jumped in front of him. See, he's already exercised patience. When the woman with the issue of blood jumped in front of Jairus, it showed that he was already patient. He could have got upset with this, but he didn't. And see, that's one of the things we get from this. You got to learn how to be patient. That's what chapter 4 is in. That's why chapter 4 is in between confession and maintaining your confession. Because when you can make your confession, are you patient when others are being blessed and you see others? Hold on for me 1 second here. Let me get this. There we go. Amen. Can you be patient while others are being blessed or others are getting a miracle while your miracle has not yet came? See, that's why I put patience in between confession and maintaining your confession. Because we can make a confession, but we don't have no patience. We'll never get to maintaining our confession. So that's why in chapter 5, that's why we're here. Let me read this again. In chapter 5, it starts off. Now again, this Jairus encounter with Jesus. Revelation of the encounter. Look at this. He says, Jairus had done everything right up to this point. He had waited patiently for his miracle when the woman with the issue of blood jumped in front of him. Again, when the woman with the issue of blood stepped in front of Jairus, got her miracle, he watched. Not only did he watch, I believe he got some revelation even from her miracle. But one thing he exercised was patience. You got to exercise that very thing. Once you make the confession, do you have patience to get into maintaining that confession? See, chapter 4 of this book deals with patience. Chapter 5, what we're coming out of now, is maintaining that confession. But notice, he kept his patience while the woman with the issue of blood got her miracle. This shows a lot. Can you be patient after you make your confession that God gonna do it, God gonna heal, God gonna do? Can you stay patient? Amen. Can you stay patient even while you confess the healing and your healing ain't quite manifest, but somebody else got healed immediately? Can you stay patient to get to maintain maintaining your confession? So look what he says. Let me continue reading. He made the right confession by telling Jesus, "Come by, lay thy hands on her, that she may be made heal." So he made his confession that if Jesus would come by and lay hands on his daughter, she would be made whole. Now we know that Jesus could have easily healed her with a word. We've seen this done many times. Amen. With the centurion servant, he said his word and healed her. So, but it was Jairus' confession that Jesus now began to honor, because Jairus said, amen, in Mark chapter 5, verse 23, amen, and coming out of his book, Jairus made a confession that if Jesus would come, lay hands on her, his daughter would be whole. So his confession was He wanted Jesus to come to the house. So now watch how God honored his confession. So you got to watch what you're confessing. If you believe in God to heal, make the confession. If you believe in God to do whatever, excuse me, make the confession. Amen. I should have got me some water again. To maintain the confession. So whatever your confession is, what God gonna honor. You ever heard the statement, death and life is in the power of the tongue? Your confession is what God will honor. And Jairus' confession was that if Jesus would come to his house, lay hands on his daughter, he would be made whole. And that's exactly what Jesus is going to do. But watch. The woman with the issue of blood made a confession as well. Her confession was, if I could touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made whole. Notice how the Lord honored both confessions. This lets us know what we say matters. What we confess matters. If you confessing that God ain't gonna bless you till next year, then that's when you gonna get your blessing next year. If you saying this, whatever your confession is what God gonna honor. Truly, death and life is what? In the power of the tongue. And your confession. Even the centurion, when he told Jesus, you don't have to come to my house, just send your word. His confession was send the word, and that's exactly what the Lord did. So God will always honor your confession, my confession, what we're saying. Amen. And you can kind of get a grade on your life with God on your own confession, because that's what you're manifesting right now is a confession. So Jairus made a confession that if the Lord would come to his house, lay hands on his daughter would be made whole. So now, in the process of the Lord on his way to Jairus' house, the woman with the issue of blood steps in, gets her healing, but notice what Jairus remained. He remained patient. So in between chapter 3 and 5, in chapter 4 of this book, I put patience. You got to have patience. When you confess that you're going to get a house and you don't get yours, there's somebody right around you get a house, can you remain patient? Amen. And then maintain your own confession. Because this is where a lot of people fault. This is where the devil get a lot of people. Because you make a confession, you watching others be blessed, but you don't have the patience. So now he's telling you God ain't going to do it, God can't do it, your situation is impossible. Instead of you being patient, because the Bible says in Hebrew, follow those who what? Through faith and patience inherit promises. Amen. So this is what you got to do. So in this book, chapter 5, maintaining your confession, you got to maintain the confession you made. Now, if you said God going to do it this way, you got to have the faith now to maintain that confession. Now, watch what happened. I ain't going to be here long, but I want you to go get this book on Amazon. It's called Jairus' Encounter with Jesus, Revelations of the Encounter. Amen. So we talked about maintaining your confession out of chapter 5 of this short read that God led me to write. But the book will bless you, I guarantee you. Now watch what he does. He maintains his confession. But he had to have patience, because he had to watch the woman with the issue of blood get her miracle, her blessing. And he had to be patient. He could have got upset at her. He could have got mad and said, no. See, this is what also happens while we're waiting on something. Are we patient? Amen. Are you patient? Then after patience, can you maintain the confession you had at the beginning? Let's continue reading. He says, come lay hands on her that she may be healed. But now Jairus had to maintain his confession. Let's read. Watch this. Watch this. He had to maintain his confession when news came of his daughter's death, as we read in Mark 5:35. Now watch. Jairus had to maintain his confession after news came from his own house. Now, people from his own house came and told him, let's see what they say. Verse 35 of Mark 5. It's in this book of Jairus' encounter. Look what it says. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? Now he had to maintain the confession that he had from the beginning. Why? Because now he got news that the daughter was dead. Amen. Can you maintain your confession even when the situation seems like it's said and done? Amen. Even when it looks like it's never going to happen, can you maintain your confession? Jairus had to maintain his confession after hearing a word from his own house. And it's usually people around you that begin to speak negative because they see what you hear. They tell you ain't no need in waiting on this, or ain't no need in believing God could do that now. You always give up on that or that. And this came from his own house. Let's read again. Mark 5:35 out of our Jairus book. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? You usually gonna have your biggest fight of faith, hearing words from people around you, that's seeing what you're hearing and knowing what you're going through and all this, and they telling you ain't no need in this, or you might well give up on that. But Jairus now had to maintain his own confession. Notice the Lord's not going to stop people from speaking negative, but He's going to speak to you to maintain your faith and not to get into fear while they speaking negative. Amen. While they telling you, you might well give up. It's over now. You got to maintain the confession. This is what is coming from chapter 5 of Jairus' encounter with Jesus. Revelation of the encounter. So this is what I want you to see today. Amen. Maintaining your confession. Can you do it? And you always notice I'm always at my desk. This is where I get some of the greatest inspiration, sitting in my own personal desk at home. Amen. God speaks more here than seems like anywhere with me. Amen. So you always see me sitting here. People say, well, why are you never on stage or this or that? No, I get some of the best inspiration and revelation from God sitting here in this spot at this desk. Amen. Matter of fact, all the books that I've written from here, and God can give it to me right then and here. And one book I was writing, and I got to get back to it, but God told me to stop in the middle of that book and write the latest book that I did, and I did that. And He brought the revelation straight through. So what I'm giving you here in this book will bless you. It's called Jairus' Encounter with Jesus, Revelation of the Encounter. So now he got news from his own house that the daughter was dead, and they was telling him, don't trouble the master anymore. Ain't no need in going to Jesus now. It's over. Ain't no need in believing God can fix it. They tell you it's over. And most of our greatest fight is maintaining our confession when people around us know our situation and they start speaking like ain't no need, you might well give up. So now the Lord began to tell him, maintain your confession. Matter of fact, Jesus tells Jairus, fear not, only believe. See, He didn't stop them from saying the negative word. Notice, God's not going to stop people from speaking negative to you or around you, but He will encourage you and remind you, don't fear, keep the faith, maintain your confession. And this is what Jairus had to do. He had to maintain his confession. I'm about through. I'm not going to be on long. But I'm doing this for you. Go get this book today on Amazon. This book will bless you. It's called Jairus' Encounter with Jesus, Revelation of the Encounter. And we're coming out of chapter 5, which says, maintain your confession. Now, Jairus, one, he was patient when the woman with the issue of blood stepped in front of him. He didn't get upset. He didn't lose his character. This is where a lot of people lose character, because you believe in God for a house, then somebody else get one. You believe in God to do this, that, and the other, but He do it for somebody else. And then you start getting impatient. Or you thinking He's not going to do it for you. And see, if you can't maintain your confession, when people start to speak negative because you are not believing, once they tell you God ain't going to do it, you agree with them. But notice Jesus told Jairus, fear not, only believe. He didn't stop them from saying, don't trouble the master. No, He let them say it. But what He did do, He spoke to Jairus, the one that was believing. See, it's you. He said, according to your faith, be it what unto you. So in order for you to maintain your confession, no matter what it looks like, no matter what nobody's saying or anyone's saying, you maintain your confession of what you confess that God was going to do, God was going to heal, God was going to open doors, God going to bless my business, God, whatever the confession is, can you maintain the confession when somebody else is blessed before you, or it seemed like you are being delayed? And see, that woman stepped in front of Jairus. He could have got bent out of shape and said, I was here first. He did not. He maintained his patience, which is in chapter 4 of this same book. And I teach on patience, and you need to get this book. It will bless you. But in chapter 5, we deal with maintaining your confession. This is what Jairus did. And when we get to chapter 6, he saw his miracle. Amen. I want you to get this book. This book will bless you. In chapter 3, we talk about the confession. Chapter 4, we deal with patience, because he's dealing with the woman issue of blood getting in his way. He didn't get bent out of shape. Chapter 5, maintaining that confession, even when people are speaking negative about what you believe in God to do or what you trust in God to do. Can you maintain your confession? Go on and get this book. It's called Jairus' Encounter with Jesus. You can get it as an ebook on Amazon Kindle, or you can get it as a printed paperback copy on Amazon.com. Amen. But we're coming out of chapter 5, maintaining your confession. Can you maintain your confession when people were speaking negative, just like Jairus did. From his own house, they told him, trouble not the master, your daughter's dead. But notice, Jesus spoke to Jairus, fear not, only believe. In other words, keep believing what you came to me for. That's what he tell him. Maintain your confession from the jump. You said, if I come to your house, lay hands, your daughter will be made whole. So keep that confession, even though negative words come, even though it look like it ain't gonna happen or situation. No, maintain your confession. So this is what we're doing in chapter 5 of Jairus' encounter. Maintaining our confession. Can you maintain your confession? Go on Amazon and get this short read. This book will bless you. You'll get revelation from it and it will bless you. Go in and get it. But maintaining your confession, can you do it? Amen. When it seemed like it got darker after your confession, and usually that's how it works. You can say, God, get ready to do it. It seems like it just, the bottom falls out. It seems like ain't nothing going to go right. But yet Jesus tell you, fear not, only believe. That's what he told Jairus. In other words, Jairus, keep your confession. So can you maintain your confession? Have you made any confession? Can you be patient while others are being blessed and seemingly you are not? Just like Jairus with the woman with the issue of blood. She stepped right in the middle. He was there first. She got her miracle first. Amen. Because her confession called for her to be healed right then and there. She said, if I could touch the hem of his garment. See, he going to honor your confession. Amen. So I want you to go in and get this book, Jairus' Encounter with Jesus. This book will bless you. Amen. It will bless you. It's a short read. You can get it as an ebook. You can get it as a paperback printed copy on Amazon.com or as an ebook on Amazon Kindle. Amen. Go right to your device. Amen. Your phone or your iPad, whatever. And you can read it right then and there. But this book will bless you. Go in there and get it. It's called Jairus' Encounter with Jesus. And we come out of chapter 5 today. I took an excerpt out of chapter 5 of this book, Maintaining Your Confession. Go get it. This book will bless you. Jairus had to maintain what he said, even when news came that his daughter was dead. And notice where this news come from. It come from his own house. It's usually folk around you that don't understand or don't believe like you do that begin to speak negative. Amen. Jairus, they left his house and they came and told him, don't trouble Jesus anymore. Amen. Your daughter's dead. They speaking the opposite of what Jairus had confessed. And it's usually how it is. You making positive confessions or faith confessions, what God gonna do. But there's some around you that may say, I don't believe that, or ain't no need, it's over now, you might well give up. You got to maintain your confession. That's what chapter 5 of this book is about. Maintaining your confession. Go in there and get it. It's called Jairus' Encounter with Jesus. It will bless you. Amen. Y'all be blessed. Stay encouraged. Amen. I just done a short excerpt out of the book Jairus' Encounter with Jesus. Where you can go get it. It will bless you. It's a short read. Amen. Chapter 3, confession. Chapter 4, patience. Chapter 5, maintaining your confession. And it will bless you. Go get it and download it as an ebook on your from Amazon Kindle, or get it as a printed copy on Amazon.com. This book will bless you. It will strengthen you. Y'all stay encouraged. Be blessed. And let me tell you again, maintain your confession. I don't care what it looks like, what it feels like. Maintain what you confess that God was going to do. Trust Him. He shall also bring it to pass. Y'all be blessed.